Okay, shalom, shalom, kwam yasha'Allah, koholoimla, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachachakadash, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth. Just want to say the water to the H.I.M and Akwaf, that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan the Waf. Is coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that is edifying by the Spirit. And a couple of videos that I seen today, gonna kind of do like a little land backing off Apostle Gabar, Daily Edification for GMS. That's his channel, and he was reacting to another elder's channel, but it's going off into the so-called black women, right? And
shalom to the elect.
Just gonna pause it. I'm not gonna super duper go into it. Some of you may have seen this video, but this guy right here, he says, white guy shows how easy it is to clap black cheeks. And I had seen this video, you know what I'm saying, maybe a day or so ago, but, I noticed that the elders and brothers was going in on it. And I seen it, I see so many of these, the videos where it's just like, the so-called black woman just make us look so bad. She looks just so bad, man, in a lot of these situations. And, you just get sick and tired of it, so I kind of push past it. And even with Apostle Gabar's video, when I seen it, I was like, God, man, I don't even want. So, I kind of chilled on it and stuff. But, the Spirit was like, yeah, go ahead and just watch it. And so, he's just going off into the facts of the so-called black woman, man. She'll treat that so-called white man like she'll kiss the ground that he walks on, man. But when it comes to her own men, she hates them, man. I mean, but we understand that that is a curse from, in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Matter of fact, and it goes both ways, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm not just going to throw it at the women, but we do have to say that it starts with Eve, man, because the scripture talks about how she was the one that she went for the bait when it came to the serpent, kicking that game to her ass, and she brought the bullshit back to Adam. So she was the one, to have us fall, and it's still that way to this very day, because Satan is the spiritual. Esau, the so-called white man, is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan on the planet, and Eve is the so-called white man's helper, which is the so-called black woman. At the most, but it's the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, women in general. It's like our women are just, they're totally against us, but especially the main tribe of Judah. That's the top tribe in Israel. So, if they figure if they can get the Judites first, then, the rest of the tribes will fall in line, and we've been destroyed, ever since this curse went into play on us. But this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, and this is one of the curses. I'm just going to get to the point, verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil towards the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter. See? She's never mean to the so-called white man. Trust me, never. You can forget about that. They changed their voice, they changed their attitude. They turned from being ghetto as fuck to being eloquent, have etiquette. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go to work, they dress up, they act all polite, they turn on that white woman's secretary voice, but when they get to the crib, raging bull. Hate niggas, talk shit to the kids, throwing shit. But when she get around that so-called white man, hey, she get her shit together, bro. And that's what the apostle was going in on this video. So I just really wanted to just get the title of it, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. It says, video done by a YouTube content creator shows the hypocrisy of the so-called black women. Because this guy in the video, he's actually saying racist shit and all kinds of shit. And they throwing him in a number, and he's smashing, you know what I'm saying? And, the apostle, of course, he was going off into, he was pulling up on Google, what's the top wig for, the so-called black women, of course, or the top color. And, of course, number one on the list was a blonde wig, because you see these pictures of our women, out here with these blonde wigs on, and that shit just look horrible. I hate to see it. I seen a woman today, man, when I was in Walmart. I was pushing the cart down looking for an aisle, and I seen this chick. I seen that hairdo, man, and I kept it pushing. I pushed that cart so quick because I didn't even want to even look at her ass. It was just a glance, like, ugh, just that blonde hairdo. I'm gonna put in why do black women wear blonde wigs. see what AI has to say. And I'm going to go into some of these little videos too. Yeah. Somebody been asking, why do black women use blonde wigs? Let's see, this is somebody saying, let's see. They say, I never worn a blonde wig before, but I don't see how it's any different from me wearing my green and blue wig, which you should be wearing that bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit too. It's just a color, and I don't even think of it as being attached to anyone. Yeah, it is attached to someone. It's attached to the so-called white woman. And that's also going off into leprosy. You know what I'm saying? That thin blonde, that thin yellow hair. Says my mom is a ginger and she's black, and my sister was born toe-headed and she's black. Oh, anyway, hey, look, you got a natural color. That's cool. But we talking about throwing the white woman's hair in your fucking head and running around out here flinging that shit everywhere and thinking that you because I'm telling you something about these wigs, them eyelashes, and all that stuff, man. That shit puts a different type of spirit on a woman because they act totally different. They act totally different. When they don't have none of that shit on, they're a lot more humble. But as soon as they put that shit on, it's like they turn into a complete, total different person. And I know this to be true up close and personal. Like for real. They turn into a different person. But anyway, let's go back. And I wanted to also, let me get this one video too right here. This is this chick named, this young lady named River. And she be going in on a woman. I will put it that way. You know what I'm saying? She be having some good points on her show. You know, hey, but hey, I mean, it is what it is. But now this is a video of a so-called black woman. And this shit is so stupid. I'm thinking it's just a skit because this lady is fussing with her 13-year-old son about why he won't give her his birthday money to help her pay the light bill. And I'm looking at that shit. And then the little sister in the back seat, because she talking about selling his PlayStation. Well, I'm gonna pawn your PlayStation and get the money. This, and this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming he must have got the money from maybe his dad, or, you know, obviously the dad is not in the picture in this video. But it's just crazy, bro. But matter of fact, you know what? This is for educational purposes only. We can just play a little bit of it because it's really kind of, you know, I'm thinking it's a skit because I can't see why she would record something like this. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's play it.
I was raised to believe in grace, that we can be transformed into a...
And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid.
Yeah, you know, the kids going off and, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, the shit just, I was thinking it was a skit because they like, you know, well, the little boy asked her, you know what I'm saying, well, mama, you know, well, maybe if you stop going out all the time and spending all your money, you know, and going out with your friends, he was like, what happened to the income tax money? You know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I mean, I think the shit was skidded. I can't see her being stupid enough to record nothing like that. And, you know, but overall, it went supposedly viral and people was on her ass about it, you know what I'm saying? They was like, you know, because and that's how a lot of these young men, they grow up, you know what I'm saying, with their mamas on their heels and shit as if they're their fucking husbands, man. And then they grow up, they actually have to deal with another black woman. And then, you know, the mom is acting as if he's fucking cheating on her. Anyway, man. The point that I wanted to make was, don't fall for the beauty. Let me get that one real quick. It's the beauty of these so-called black women, man, that our men fall for, you know, because we do got some beautiful women, but it's just not, they just so goddamn wicked, bro. It's not, you don't even want to deal. This is Ecclesiasticus 25 and 21. It says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. And that's overall the way that the game rolls, because I was reading in the book of Judith today. Dope book too, man. I would say, you know, chop it up. No, I think it was chapter 10. Now, this is Judith. If you're familiar with this particular story, you know, of course, the Nebuchadnezzar done sent his boy, you know what I'm saying, and they've taken over lands, conquering. Then they come across the Israelites, of course. The Israelites, you know what I'm saying, don't want to deal. they're not coming down and basically bowing to Nebuchadnezzar, his generals and all that shit. So they, siege the place. You know what I'm saying? So now the Israelites are at a point. They done prayed, they fasted to the Lord, all that good stuff, and they've come to a point of, the generals. They came up with a plan to basically siege the place and make them run out of food and water and things like that. And just pretty much overall have them die from thirst and starvation, so to speak. So it gets to that point, and the people are faint. It says the young men, the women, and the children were all crying. You know what I'm saying? Like, to the elders. The elders, they wanted to, they basically, the people was like, hey, look, man, why don't you just go ahead and tell this man that we surrender so we don't all die? And the elders was like, well, hey, give me 5 days. You know what I'm saying? Get a Lord 5 days, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how Jake be, man, when shit gets bad. That's why the scriptures talks about how pretty much overall expect tribulation when you come into this truth, and don't faint when things get bad. It's in the scriptures in a bunch of spots. But because the Lord see just how your faith is going to work. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to be faithful to him? Or are you going to really rely on him? And so the people's faith fainted pretty much overall, because they had already fasted and prayed. You know what I'm saying? And but once that water, see, that's going to be a thing when in his end days too, when there's no food to eat, no water to drink. You know what I'm saying? That real test comes along. And that mark of the beast comes about, you know what I'm saying, when Esau, the so-called white man, get to telling you about how, like, hey, I'll feed you and I'll give you drink, you and your children. But, hey, you're going to have to take that chip. And that's where that real testing is going to come in at, too. But I noticed in that story, that they gave up. And then the elders kind of gave in to the people, like how Aaron gave in to the people when Moses was up in the mount for too long. They was like, hey, we don't know where this guy Moses at, man. Make us some gods. And that's where you get to, the story of the golden calf. But that kind of reminded me of that story as well. But the elders gave in. It was like, well, hey, let's, give us 5 days, basically. And if the Lord don't bring us through, so to speak, roughly paraphrasing, we'll just go ahead and surrender, whatever. So anyway, Judith, she gets wind of this, what they're trying to do. She calls the elders up, you know what I'm saying? Because Judith had money, man. She had bread. Once her husband died, she had gold, silver, a bunch of maid servants and things of that nature. But, but she was still, she was, her husband died, and she went about shit, man, except for, just pretty much being a widow and mourning and pretty much fasting, man, and praying, because she stayed on the roof of her house, in a tent until I think the Sabbath day came in and the holy holidays or whatever. So, she didn't even take advantage of, like, what she had, like how normally women would do. In this day and time, they'd be like, oh, that nigga gone. Oh, he left me with all this shit. I'm going to get me. I'm going to ball out of control. No, Judith wasn't like that. And she was a very beautiful lady, too, because this is what I want to go into, in this particular chapter here. Because this is how, actually, that great general of Nebuchadnezzar, man, he ended up getting his goddamn head cut off because he was simping over a beautiful woman, man, which was Judith, man. She played the shit out of these dudes, man. She went through. Spit that game, and she threw on her apparel, talked about how she put on all her jewels, her bracelets, her earrings, and she put on his her apparel, and everybody was just gawking over her, man. The children of Israel were gawking over her. And then once she came down through, you know what I'm saying, the pathway to meet up with these men, because she just left she left Israel, so to speak, to go and pretty much overall to go into these warriors' camp, and that's what she done. But let me see, I wanted to, so like, I don't mean to rant. I wanted to set up the story though. But let's see what she done. Let's see here. Where to start? Oh, here's the point right here. Let me just get to the point. I'm gonna start at verse 3. No, let me start at, let me just start from the top. Verse 1, Judith 10:1. Now, after that, she had ceased to cry unto the Lord, because she prayed. She prayed a real hard prayer. You know what I'm saying? In chapter 9, it says, and now after that, she had ceased to cry unto God of Israel, and had made an end of all these words. She rose where she had fallen down, and called her maid, and went down into the house in in the which she abode in the Sabbath days and in her feast days, and pulled off the sackcloth which she had on, and put off the garments of her widowhood, and washed her body all over with water, and anointed herself with precious ointments, and braided the hair of her head, and put on tire upon it, and put on her garments of gladness, wherewith she was clad during the life of Manasseh, her husband. So she, she was looking beautiful for her husband, but once he died, she's like, done with that. But just for this particular moment, she done it. And she took her sandals upon her feet, and put about her bracelets, and her chains, and her rings, and her earrings, and all her ornaments, and decked herself bravely to allure the eyes of all men that should see her. And that's what she done. See, and this is why, you can't stumble at the beauty of a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what women do. Generally, women dress for other women, and they dress to allure men, basically, overall, especially with this day and time and look, because that's exactly what she done. She understood that. She understood that all I got to do is beautify myself up, and and these guys going to be gawking over me, and I can just go through and spit that game real quick. And she prayed about deceiving them too, and got at them. But that's overall the point that I wanted to really get. Well, let's see here. It goes on. We're just gonna get to a few verses that talked about her beauty in a sense. Verse 7, it says, "And when they saw her, that her countenance was altered." Now this is talking about the elders of the city, "and her apparel was changed. They wondered at her beauty very greatly, and said unto her, the God of our fathers, give thee favor, and accomplish thine enterprises, to the glory of the children of Israel, and to the exaltation of Jerusalem. Then they worship God." So they was gawking at her beauty, but she was about to go out the gates and go into these warriors' camp. You know what I'm saying? And she had a plan, right? But she was so beautiful, that shit worked, because you got to think about it. The way that she looked, and then you got a bunch of men that's just been, out and about warring and fucking, they probably, I'm sure they was hitting towns and probably ravishing women and shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? Overall, to see something really beautiful with them, how, dudes is just, that's why you got so many problems with grape in the military. Because these women shouldn't be in the military with these men, because they, they get that, the men get to the point of, hey, look, I need something to touch on, and your ass is there. You know what I'm saying? You up in here saluting, trying to be a damn man. No, homeboy not looking at you like no man. That's why you got such a problem of grape going on in the American military and throughout all these nations that have women in their military. You're not supposed to have them there, because it's a throw off. But anyway, it goes on to say, I'm going to start at verse 12. Judith 10 and 12. Okay, so now this is when, no, let me start at 11. "Thus they went straight forth in the valley, and first watched the Assyrians met her." So she's meeting with the Assyrians. "And took her, and asked her, Of what people art thou? And whence comest thou? And whither goest thou? And she said, I am a woman of the Hebrews, and am fled from them, for they shall be given to you to be consumed." Now this was her plan. She's seducing these men, right? "And I am coming before Holofernes," pronouncing the general's name right, "the chief captain of your army, to declare words of truth. And I will show him a way whereby he shall go and win all the hill country without losing the body or life of any one of his men." So she basically going as, she got a little plan together to set these niggas up, man. It says, "Now when the men heard her words and beheld her countenance, see, they wondered greatly at her beauty, and said unto her, Thou hast saved thy life, if that thou hast hastened it to come down to the presence of our Lord. Now therefore come to his tent, and some of us shall conduct thee, until they have delivered thee into his hands." So see, you're supposed to trust no women, man. You're trusting no women like that, man. Especially, scripture says to never trust thine enemy. This is a woman of your enemies that you're coming up against. But she was so beautiful, they lost it, man. But let me just because they also said, what else did they say? Let me see. Let me start at verse 18. It says, Then were there a concourse throughout all the camp, for her coming was noised among the tents, and they came about her, as she stood without the tents of Holofernes, till they told him of her, and they wondered at her beauty. See that? And admired the children of Israel because of her. That's how bad she was. And everyone said to his neighbor, Who would despise his people that have among them such women? Surely it is not good that one man of them be left, who being let go might deceive the whole earth. So man, they like, hey, look, man, they was feeling the children of Israel just because of the way that she looked, because they looking like, well, shit, if she looked like this, what the rest of them look like, you know? So it ended up, long story short, you know, the plan that she went with, you know, she went into this guy's tent, you know, and having them little drinks, got tipsy, and then shit, man, she ended up cutting that motherfucker's head off, man. What, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm gonna have to go back through the story, but you know, I'm not sure to the extent of, was it his sword, or I don't think it was a sword that she had with her, or a dagger, but she had a maid servant with her too. She had another little one of her maids with her, so I'm sure the maid was probably bad too. But anyway, the point is she trusted. You know, he failed at the beauty of her, man. And then, you know, of course, it sent all the men into a rage because she had his head. She took his head. They woke up the next day because they thinking like, you know, oh shit, the general done popped. He done hit. You know, because I think they kept trying to open his door. I, you know, they was like, oh, well, let's not interrupt, if I'm not mistaken. Roughly paraphrasing the story. But, you know, because they thinking, you know, he in there. He chopping it up. He popping her or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, this man, he's the man. And, you know, they waited until the morning, and not knowing that she had already cut off his head and had already dipped and shit. You know what I'm saying? They came in, seen that nigga head gone, and it just sent the guys into a race. So once they lost their general, it was pretty much, you know, they was through. And from that point, you know, the Israelites got down. But anyway, that's the story of the beauty of a woman, man. So, you know, let me go back. Because like I said again, hey, we got some out here. I see them all the time, man. There's some beauties in Israel, man. I ain't gonna front. I mean, there's some beauties of all the nations, but no, Israel got some beauties, man. Hey, the children of Israel, man, the women of Israel, man. There's some. When they say baddies, it's some of them out here. I'm not gonna front. You can't front on them, but they're just so tainted, man. They're just not to be trusted, man. It's not even worth it. And shit is like a real snake, boy. Like for real. But let me go back to where I was. Ecclesiasticus chapter 25. What was that? Verse 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. See, and that's what happened with them guys. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, this guy, he stumbled at the beauty of Judith, man. He got the business, man, in the worst way too. And you know, that was a story that was shameful. Because, you know, the men that escaped, you know what I'm saying? You know, the ones that did get away, you know, they went back to Nebuchadnezzar. And, you know, they told him all about how this nigga head got cut off by this beautiful woman and this, that, and the third. And, you know, because King Solomon spoke on it right here, but he spoke on it a few times, you know what I'm saying, as far as like, you know, a woman, you know, and the beauty. And it goes off into philosophies and the wisdom of this world too as well. But overall, you know what I'm saying? Because see, you have to realize King Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. And he failed as well, you know. He fell off dealing with those beautiful women, man. He started building temples and shrines and worshiping these other bitches' gods and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And that threw King Solomon off. And then you go off into what's the story of where it talks about I think the brothers had it was like trying to think how it was worded but it was like a game for the king, or basically these three men had, you know, to come up with what was the greatest in the world, so to speak, roughly paraphrasing. I think one mentioned wine or drink, and then one of the brothers ended up mentioning a woman. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, pretty much, because man, hey, that woman is a bad boy, man. She'll throw your ass for a loop. But let me get this real quick. 2 Timothy chapter 2. Is that what I want? Nope. Is that it? Let's see. I want to say, like, is it verse 9? Nope, that's not it. Bear with me here real quick. I know I got them. Oh, I don't think I saved it in there. What's lucky was 1 Timothy 2 and 9. Let me see here. Yeah, let me start at verse 9. It says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. See? And it's not saying that you can't, wear no gold or no earrings or no, you can wear all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But where's your heart at? What's your inner being like, you know what I'm saying? Are you a worshiper of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai? Do you love the Lord? Are you, respecting your husband, keeping the household and playing the order that the Lord actually gave you? See, these days, women, they just out here, man. They don't give a fuck, man. They doing it all to pretty much overall gather attention and just free for all, man. It's crazy, man. You have to be really very, very careful with the women of today, man. It's like I'm seeing too many stories where the most heinous crimes is being committed by them, man. And they setting dudes up. They putting shit in dudes' drinks. They fucking poisoning the food. And then not to mention, if you do get caught up with them, you know what I'm saying? You fuck around and get a baby or two by them. Oh my. Not a good look at all. I'm going to continue. Let me get a little more. It says, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. And these women not going for nothing like that these days. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. But you would think in this society, you'll think that Eve was first formed and then Adam. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. See that? Matter of fact, let me go back. I wonder if it's, let me see. Yep. Verse 24 right here in Ecclesiasticus 25 and 24. It says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. See, I'm telling you, man. There was another one with King Solomon. Ecclesiastes 7 and 27. Behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. See? Let me see what that says in the NLT. It says, though I have searched repeatedly, I have not found what I was looking for. Only one out of 1,000 men is virtuous, but not one woman. God damn. And, hey, King Solomon was an expert at women, man. Other than him, allowing them to do the bullshit that he done, you know what I'm saying? And, the Lord, that's how we ended up going into the captivities that we pretty much went into when the Lord split the kingdom. That it was because of the woman that the kingdom was split. Overall, you know what I'm saying? Well, I got to say Solomon, he had to take his part in it. But what I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? It was because of a woman that he fell like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you trying to tell me, look, King Solomon, man, with all that, it says that he was, pretty much overall the richest man to ever live, so to speak. You don't think that all them women was bad? We're talking about a time where women would go through a ritual of just being like, matter of fact, in the book of, what's that, Esther? When you look at the process of Esther and what those women had to go through, let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this was some ancient shit right here, man. And we going back to this, man. Esther chapter 2, verse 12, it says, now, this is when, if you're familiar with this king, he got rid of Queen Vesta because she was a loudmouth back then. You know what I'm saying? She was disrespectful to the king and the princes of all. He was having a party. Basically, if you go into the story, he had a big banquet. I'm not sure how long it lasts because, them kings, they would throw damn party. See, a motherfucker throw a party right now, it'll last a night, 2-3 days at best. But, a king back then, man, they throw a party that motherfucker last 3-4 months, fucking year if they wanted to, because they had riches like that. But he was throwing a feast. And, he had all these, these people, you know what I'm saying? These delegates, so to speak, like his main men that were, because he ran. I think he had like his province, man. He was running the world at that time, or the world that was known of the time. He had all those provinces, man. And all his, I'm not sure their titles, governors or whatever. He would set up certain mini kings, so to speak, over certain regions. But he had all these guys come through, they party and whatever. I guess he get a little tipsy, and he trying to send for King Vesta and telling her, and she was chilling with her girls, and they was having their own party, because men and women were separated like that. They danced separately and everything. Women would dance with women, men would dance with men, so to speak. But this was a heathen king anyway. Their customs was a little different. But anyway, the point is that he wanted Queen Vesta to come through and show off her beauty. Because he pretty much overall wanted to show his boys, like, look, I got a bad bitch. This bitch bad. Trust me. And she, said, nah, I ain't coming, this, that, and the third, telling the king what the fuck she wasn't going to do. So anyway, what ended up happening was those princes was like, well, hey, man, you got to do something about this, roughly paraphrasing, because if our women hear about that shit, they going to get to talking shit to us and think that they can disobey us like how your woman just disobeyed you. So, they came up with something to do, the king, and they was like, well, hey, get rid of that bitch. And we'll search throughout your kingdom, you know what I'm saying, for all, the virgins, you know what I'm saying, from and he had different races of people there throughout his whole, it was bitches from every kingdom, every nationality that you can think of, man. He was in that, pretty much it was like somewhat of a contest. They gathered up all them virgins, all virgins, never even touched. Right? This is what the king was balling out of control, man. You know what I'm saying? He had them in harems, man. He had them with their own places and shit like that, man. They wouldn't dare think of. Matter of fact, the men that would be over those houses would be eunuchs. They cut their rods off, man. Cut their DICKs off, man, so that they wouldn't even deal with them. No, you watch over, and that was kind of cruel, because you would have a nigga, you would cut a dude's rod off and have him be around a whole bunch of bad bitches all day. Crazy. But anyway, story goes on. He gathers up these people. This is where our Queen Esther came in at, one of our foremothers and shit. That's where you get the holiday Purim from. And Mordecai trying to destroy the Jews, which are the so-called blacks today, Hispanics and Native Americans, so to speak. But anyway, this was the process that the women went through even before they came before the king. You couldn't just fuck with the king, bro. You had to go through like a 6-month process. You had to go through damn near a year of being, let's just read this. Verse 12. Esther 2:12. Now when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months. See that? According to the manner of the women. That's how many it was. For so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil and myrrh. You had to go through 6 months of just them treating you with these particular oils so that you will smell a certain way to the king, man. It says 6 months with oil and myrrh, 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. See? And then thus came every maid unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out to the house of the women unto the king's house. See? So he had harems for this chick, man. They was giving Jews clothes, but hey, guess what? That was his women. There wasn't no women talking about, I ain't sharing no man. Bitches ain't had no say. They was his women. And guess what? He didn't even have to pop them all. That bitch would be a virgin forever if he never got around to her, man. You have to realize that. But look at where we're at now. Here you go, a heathen king. This was a heathen king that had it like this. And Esther was an Israelite woman, man. Right? So a heathen king having his way with that many women, and then motherfuckers get to talking to us about, y'all talking about multiple women. Y'all talking about that. Everybody's a Christian till the scriptures come out. See? Because these women in America, they'll tell you they're Christians, but you better not talk to them about how the men of the Lord had multiple wives. Oh, well, no, that was Old Testament. That was way back then. It ain't. See? But that ain't over with. Now, is it wise to be dealing with these women like that in this day and time? Hell no. especially not no bunch of black women. You crazy? But guess what? It's going to come a time where we're going to go back into that lifestyle, man, when our kingdom comes. Because see, Esau, the so-called white man, he didn't clip this, man. He shut us down. Or a matter of fact, the Lord did, actually. You know what I'm saying? But he used the so-called white man to do so. But this is Isaiah 4:1. It says, in that day. Now, this is a prophecy that's coming to pass. And soon, more than likely. I was just looking at this other brother's video. He was talking about it. He said he had a dream last night that he was fighting women off. And that's what the apostles been talking about. He said, just give it a moment. Wait. You're going to be fighting women off. To you brothers that can't get no woman, they dissing you. And overall, the men of the Lord, we ain't getting no play like that anyway. You know what I'm saying? You can run up on them and talk. It's nothing to, you ain't like niggas ain't had no game to pull a woman. It's just like you be looking at shit and you using the wisdom of the scriptures. It's like it's not even worth it. That shit is all work, no reward. You might as well just wait on this scripture right here to come to pass. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. See that? I'm going to read this in the New Living Translation for the people that just want to hear some plain English. In that day, so few men will be left that 7 women will fight for each man, saying, let us all marry you. We will provide our own food and clothing. Only let us take your name so we won't be mocked as old maids. See? And it's going to get real terrible out here for these proud ass women to fall for that, man. It's going to have to be real bad. And I was watching, it was one of them red pill podcasts and shit. Some old niggas, they was just regular niggas though. They ain't know nothing about the Bible. But somebody ended up saying that, bringing that scripture up. And they was like, oh shit, the Bible actually says that? They couldn't believe it. They're like, damn, this in the Bible? But see, your average Christian, they don't know the scriptures like that. They don't want to know scriptures like that. All they want to know is that white Jesus loves everybody, and that or I give $10, I'm gonna get 100 back. I give $100, I'm gonna get 1,000 back. I give $1,000. That prosperity bullshit. That's all these niggas want to hear, man. But when it comes down to the realness of the scriptures, how the Lord is a man of war. How the Lord is the one that kills people. He's the one that kills and makes alive. He's the one that that wounds and heals. He's the one that makes poor and rich. They don't want to hear about the Lord killing babies. They don't they don't want to hear about nothing like that. Oh, no, my God. They don't want nothing to do with the realness of the scriptures. But guess what? It's coming to a point where you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to deal with it. And that's what, the apostles been going in as of late. You know what I'm saying? The prophets of doom. I call them POD, man. Pod, man. We pod, man. Prophets of doom. They're going to tell you that this place is going to be destroyed. They don't want to hear none of that, man. They don't want to hear that America's going to fall. Because see, when a so-called white man fall, guess what? You women, y'all falling right with his ass. And that's where this Isaiah 4:1 is going to come in at. And so, didn't want to keep it long. Didn't think it would go that long, but, Anyway, hey, let's get this mama again.
And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid.
And there you have it. And that's your typical so-called black woman right there, man. She done ran off the man. Because why are you talking about a damn light bill, man, with your 13-year-old kid, man, or a young man? Me personally, you know what I'm saying? I've gone through stuff like that when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? You try and guilt you into, giving up the money that pops done gave you for your little birthday. Back then you used to get little Christmas money and all that shit. And they, guilt trip you out of giving it to them and shit, man, to do shit with it. You know what I'm saying? I remember stuff like that. Now, if it was something that was really, and we just being kids, we ain't really understand, but but to the extent of being in a grown-up state of mind, like, well, we do need food, you know what I'm saying? If this is what's going on, you know what I'm saying, and this can help the household, and it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But us being, little kids like that, you know what I'm saying? That's something different, because like I said, that was us being beguiled, so to speak. I remember it too. So I get that. I understand it, you know what I'm saying? But shit, at 13, look, little man, hey, you got some birthday money and the light's about to go off because you ain't going to be able to play no damn PlayStation anyway if the lights do go off. But shit, mama need the money, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is. Here you go. Type of deal. That's just the time period, the day and times that you're living in right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I get it from the the kid's standpoint from shit that they were saying. It was like, well, what about the income tax money? Why you spend all the money? You going out every night? So I get it from that standpoint. And she kind of clipped the camera because she like, up, these little kids, they gonna put my business in the streets. Well, she shouldn't have had the camera going anyway. But anyway, I'll end off there, man. I pray that the lesson was edifying with that. Kwam Yasha Allah and the Bible Ball.